Ever since Far From Home, there's been a lot of chatter about Spider-Man, his involvement, his future with the MCU. Venom, his future, or no future, or whatever they're gonna do with Venom outside the MCU. Kraven film, no Kraven film, I don't even know anymore. So let's talk about some reports out there on Sony's demands, I guess, wants, and do they even need Marvel Studios, realistically? So I've said this before in Spider-Man videos, specifically talking about Sony and Venom. Sony doesn't need Marvel Studios anymore. They don't even need to produce Spider-Man films. The only reason they are is because they hold on to those character rights. Venom has shown us that you can make a Spider-Man film without Spider-Man, and you're gonna make a ton of money. So with the contract set to expire after the next Spider-Man appearance in the MCU, there's a lot of rumors out there. There's videos, articles, people claiming this, people claiming that. None of it can be 100% confirmed, so you just kind of have to go off what you know, what you believe in past history. And a lot of people are wondering about the exact way Sony's gonna go forward with Spider-Man, with Venom, and what do they do with these characters. Like, what's the future of Spider-Man? And clearly right now, if we just look at the box office for Far From Home, it's doing huge. Like, you're not going to deny that. And we know the marketing budget was huge as well, but there is a return here. And clearly, if we just look at the audience response, do you really pull Spider-Man out of the MCU and go, well, we're just going to reboot again, or we're going to have a new version of the character? Because that doesn't make sense. That can't happen because people would turn on you. That's what they did with TASM. Everybody was like, we don't want this franchise. The only reason people accepted a new one was because it's tied to the MCU. And there's still people that hate it. So you see the problem here, the big dilemma Sony has. And at the same time, I think out of necessity, they have to stay in this MCU deal because fans will rip them apart. But also, there's more to this than anybody is privy to the knowledge. And if Venom keeps being a success, which I have no doubt that the second one will be, I think the deciding factor, as crazy as it is, will be Morbius. Let's say if Morbius comes out and it does like 600-700 million, well, like, what's Sony's obligation to Marvel Studios? Nothing. They have no obligation. They can just be like, all right, we're not re-signing a new contract. Tom Holland's out, and we're just going to take Spider-Man. We're going to shove a new Spider-Man into this Venom universe, and when the time comes, we'll just produce a Spider-Man vs. Venom movie in our universe, and we hang on to the rights for another 5 years. It's that simple. And that's really the key here, is that nobody knows the details other than the people that sign these contracts. But Sony is Sony, and there's complex things in motion here. So we don't even know if Sony's going to be around in another 5 years. Realistically, there's been a lot of people saying they're probably going to be bought by someone. And right now, they're in the good graces of Disney. And if you're working on the Spider-Man franchise, if your name is attached to it, you want to stay in those good graces. Inevitably, Sony ends up selling, or some of the aspects of the company are sold off and the film division goes elsewhere, or whatever the hell ends up happening. The people attached to Spider-Man are going to go with Spider-Man over to Disney. You probably want to have a good relationship with the people you're going to work with before you get fired. Because, you know, if you were one opposing every deal, you probably don't have a bright future attached to that character. So, yeah, let that kind of sink in there.